स्वामिन्नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धौ मामुद्धरात्मीयकटाक्षदृष्ट्या ऋज्व्यातिकारुण्य सुधाभिवृष्ट्या स्वामिन्नमस्ते 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 ज्ञानस्वरूपं निजभावयुक्तम् आनन्दमानन्दकरं प्रसन्नं योगीन्द्रमीड्यं भवरोगवैद्यं श्रीमद्गुरुं नित्यमहं नमामि श्रीमद्गुरुं नित्यमहं नमामि नित्याय सत्याय चिदात्मकाय नव्याय भव्याय परात्पराय शुद्धाय बुद्धाय निरञ्जनाय नमोऽस्तु नित्यं गुरुशेखराय नमोऽस्तु नित्यं गुरुशेखराय नमोऽस्तु नित्यं गुरुशेखराय। जय गुरु, जय गुरु, जय गुरु। Today we'll take one topic on which Swamiji spoke. The topic is non-expectation, its benign influences. This Prabhatarashmi Swamiji spoke on 5th October 2002. This is published and it is there in the third volume as the 13th number of Prabhatarashmi. Third volume, 13th number. Non-expectation, its benign influences. 5th October 2002. Harihi Om Tat Sat, Jai Guru. Swamiji starts like this. And we can imagine the serene morning hours. We are all sitting at the feet of Pujya Swamiji. Swamiji's eyes are closed and he is talking about whatever is necessary for our sadhana. Today he is talking on non-expectation. Swamiji is saying, I am continuing the subject of the mind and its welfare. There are two options before you. Would you like to have developments in your life influenced by your own wish and will? Or would you like to be harmonious with whatever takes place from time to time? A very important topic. Always we want and wish something which we feel that we'll be happy with. So all our development situations in life, we want in a manner that we will be satisfied, we will be delighted, we will be happy about it. Swamiji is asking that there are two options. Would you always like to have such developments which are influenced by our own wish and will? Or would you like to be harmonious with whatever takes place from time to time? Or should we be harmonious with whatever comes in our life? That is, whether we like it or we dislike it, are we to learn to be harmonious? Mostly we are liking only what we want, and we are constantly fearful of facing whatever we don't like. In expecting that some development should take place as you wish or desire, I think you are inviting a strain on your system. It is so true. Actually, all these are introspections. What a Sadguru does is he takes a topic and he analyzes and explains it. What we cannot do by our own introspection, he makes it easy for us by introspection and telling us what one should do. Here, so beautifully Swamiji is telling us, when we expect that the developments in our life or the situations in our life should be according to our wish and our will, actually we are constantly under strain. Why we are under strain? Because we are wanting a particular result, particular development, particular situation, particular outcome, and constantly fearful and anxious. Suppose it does not happen. Suppose it does not happen. Because we are very much aware that whether we wish and will, whether we plan something, always the outcome will not be according to our plan. So we keep on planning, keep on wishing, but we are constantly under the fear and anxiety that it may not happen, may not happen. So Swamiji says that in expecting that some development should take place as you wish or desire, I think you are inviting a strain on your system. First of all, you have not gone into the question, is it necessary to have expectations? Actually, it is a matter for deep thought. Among many people I have come across, I find that the question itself has not risen in their mind. Though wish and will play a prominent role, is this not a basic question? Now, Swamiji goes further, deep into the subject and says that first the question comes, is it necessary to have any expectation? That is, particular expectation. In our life, things will happen. But is it necessary to have any particular expectation? Swamiji says that this very question does not arise in people's mind. That is it necessary? Things will happen. We will also do many activities, take up many activities to lead our life, to be comfortable, to look after the family well. We will do work, and whatever we do, the outcome will be there. Is it necessary to have a particular expectation that it should be this or that? Once we have that particular expectation, our wish and will plays its own role and we become stressful. So Swamiji is asking, is it necessary to have particular expectations? Because outcome will be there. And he says that in many, this question does not arise. They don't ask themselves, why I am expecting? I am doing work and the result will be there. Suppose you do expect an outcome or event. Then the task before you is always to expect the right and the best. Is this not too much of a burden? So, Swamiji said that Suppose we expect something particular in our activities, in our daily life, in our life as such, then naturally we'll want the right and the best. Now, whether it will be the right and the best, that doubt will always be there, that anxiety will always there. So, is it not too much of a burden? Are you sure that you always know what is the right and the best for you? Swamiji is again asking, are you sure what is the right and the best for you? It may not be. Whatever we as simple human beings feel the right and the best for us, it may not be so. So, although we do not know, we particularize something and feel that this is best for me, this is right for me, this should happen in my life, and it brings in a great burden. Have you thought of all the future possibilities, all the past events, and all the present circumstances before coming to the conclusion as to what is actually right and the best for you? I think these have very deep meanings. And Swamiji is saying, in many these questions do not come. So through his talk, what is he saying? What is he doing? He is bringing in the questions which should come into human beings. Definitely so in any seeker or devotee. These questions should come. What are the questions? That is it necessary to have expectations? And further, do I know what is the right and the best for me? If I do not know, then why is it that I am thinking that this will be right for me or that will be the best for me? Have I gone into the past, the present, the future things, analyzed them properly, and come into a conclusion what can be best for me? If I do not, if I have not, then how do I expect that this particular event or this particular development is the right one or the best one? Do you have that much of vision and conceptual capability in you? Swamiji is saying that do you have this much of vision or the conceptual capability? Even if you do come to the correct conclusion of the right and the best, are you the sole architect of all the events that take place? Maybe we have given a lot of thought, seeing our past, seeing what we need in future, or how the present living is going on. And we have come to a conclusion, yes, I would like to have this in my life. And it can be anything. It can be anything in life. But am I the architect of my life? Comes the deepest question. I may like to have something in my life. Maybe I want a house, I want a car, I want my daughter to be married, a son to have a good job. I want to live very peacefully with my family in a very healthy manner. But am I the architect? Will everything happen according to my wish and my will? Even if you do come to the correct conclusion of the right and the best, are you the sole architect of all the events that take place? There are many other facets and they have their own limitations. Suppose the unexpected happens, then what will you do? You will have to reconcile with whatever has taken place. Now, we are expecting that this should happen, that should happen, I'll be happier, I'll be more satisfied, I'll be fulfilled, I'll be contented, I'll not have any more want in my life. Life will be very peaceful. But we are wanting what we are expecting. But suppose unexpected things happen, then don't we have to reconcile? How do we reconcile? Now the better course for you, if you are intelligent, is not to be expecting anything, but to be ready to receive everything. Most important sentence in life. Most important knowledge. What is this? That if we are intelligent, instead of expecting something particular, and the particular will be, of course, what we think should be the best thing that I want. If you are really intelligent, then we will not expect. We'll work for it, but not expect a particular result or outcome. Instead, we should train our mind to be ready to receive everything. That way, you will be free of strain and be harmonious with whatever comes. So, there won't be any strain. We are ready to receive whatever is the outcome. What we should do is, we should work properly with full heart, full interest, using our mind and intelligence. Whatever should be the best, we should try for it, but not expect a particular result, thinking that I'll be happy only by that. Instead, what should be our attitude? To be ready to receive any outcome. Maybe I have put in my 100%, but the result comes differently. We should be ready to receive it. If you develop and culture this second proposition, you will find that in that frame of mind, the best developments come of their own accord. Swamiji is saying that if we develop and culture this proposition, what is the proposition? Be ready to receive anything that comes. Receive everything. Whatever the outcome, whatever the situation, whatever develops, receive it. Receive it happily. Then that burden that I must get this, will I get, that burden will not be there. And you will find that in that frame of mind, the best developments come of their own accord. In the first choice, there is an exertion on your part, and there is an apprehension or fear as to whether the expected would come or not. So there are two propositions, Swamiji is saying. One is, expect the best and the right one, and keep on expecting. Think that I am doing work, so I must get the best and the right. This is what I want, a particular outcome. And the second proposition is, be ready to accept whatever comes. You have given your 100%, but be ready to accept anything. When we are ready to accept anything, we are not burdened, we are not affected. Otherwise, we are constantly under stress. If you develop and culture the second proposition, you will find that in that frame of mind, the best developments come of their own accord. If we are ready to receive anything, the developments also will be the best. Somebody is saying. In the first choice, there is an exertion on your part, and there is an apprehension or fear as to whether the expected would come or not. When we have any particular wish or will, what happens? There is an exertion in the mind, and we are constantly fearful whether whatever we are wanting will come or not. And if it does not come, then again you have another task of reconciling with it. Suppose it does not come, then also you will have to reconcile with whatever has come. So you are saddled with expectation, apprehension, and reconciliation. So when we particularly want something, particular expectations we are saddled with expectation, we are saddled with apprehension and fear, and again the third is reconciliation. That is, we will be expecting, and then with a fear, it may not happen, and if it does not happen, then anyway we have to reconcile. All these three will be there. Avoid all the three and have a benign attitude. That is, don't go through all these three. Have this benign attitude. What is the attitude? Come what may. I am at home with whatever it is, before, during, and after the event. So, instead of expecting, followed by apprehension, fear, and reconciliation, have this straightforward attitude that come what may, whatever comes, I am ready to accept everything. Whatever comes. This attitude signifies the most benign mind. It is the most inviting mind. If the mind has got any effect or influence on the environments consisting of persons, places, and events, if there is any factor of the mind that can produce any effect on them, then the better course will be to have the non-expecting benign mind. This non-expecting, benign, simple, straightforward mind is most effective in all situations. And this will influence everything. So the mind will be peaceful in any situation, in any event, in any development, with any person, because the mind does not expect anything in particular, but is ready to receive whatever happens, whatever is the outcome. So, Swamiji is saying that the better course will be to have the non-expecting benign mind. My dear children, we are reading this. It is not that we read about a non-expecting mind. That Swamiji is speaking about it and says that the non-expecting benign mind is the best. It will have the best influence in our lives. From this moment onwards, what we should do in our sadhana, expect nothing. Nothing. Even in spiritual pursuit, expect nothing. We will meditate expecting nothing. Mostly people meditate expecting some kind of very peaceful experience, stillness, bliss, and that is why they remain agitated. This stillness or bliss or ananda may come one day, may not come the next day. So the mind becomes agitated. Why it is not happening? And it becomes disturbed. So the mind, even in spiritual pursuit, wants something, desires a particular result. Either it is stillness, absorption, blissfulness, joy, forgetting the existence, whatever it is. So there is a particular wish and will, and that agitates the mind, makes it apprehensive, and makes it disturbed. That is why this very beautiful shloka in Yoga Vasishta is there. Bandho hi vasana bandho, mokshasyad vasana akshayah, vasanam tvam parityajya, moksharthitvam api tyaja. Bandho hi vasana bandho. The vasanas, the desires, are the bondages. Because of desires, the mind is narrow, constricted. It remains focused on only one thing. It's not able to become expanded. So, bandho hi vasana bandho. Because of the vasana, the mind remains agitated, the mind is disturbed, afflicted, and the self is not revealed in such a mind. So, moksha syat vasanakshayaha. What is moksha? Bondage has been described as desires. And what is liberation? Liberation is vasanakshayaha. When the vasanas are removed, that is liberation. The vasanas constrict our mind, agitate our mind. And what is liberation? When there is no vasana, there is no particular wish. Whatever comes, we take it. Whatever happens, we take it. And that is what is fulfillment. So, moksha syad vasanakshayaha. Vasanam tvam parityajya. So for a seeker, what we should do, our whole sadhana, whole attitude is not to have any desire, not to have any desire. Desire for what? Desire for material things, not only material things. Desire even for spiritual attainment. Vasanam tvam parityajya, moksharthitvam apityaja. And it says that for spiritual seeker, this moksharthitvam, the vasana for liberation, desire for liberation, that also constricts the mind. So that also ultimately has to be left, renounced. What does it mean? What Swamiji is telling. Do not have any kind of expectation. Just work for it lovingly. Pursue your path with love, with joy. And the outcome will be there. Have that faith. Don't constantly think, am I gaining? Am I attaining? How much I have gained? How much I have attained? Nothing like that. Just be free, relaxed, and go on pursuing your sadhana. So Swamiji is saying that the better course will be to have the non-expecting, benign mind. Dear children, there is one sovereign, beautiful, sublimating and inviting attitude. And that attitude is one of keeping a very healthy mind. What is this very beautiful attitude? Swamiji is saying, dear children, there is one sovereign, beautiful, sublimating and inviting attitude. And that attitude is one of keeping a very healthy mind. Very healthy mind. What is the healthy mind? I shall be happy with whatever comes. I shall be happy with whatever comes. I will not allow my happiness to be marred or robbed by the events of life. How beautiful it is. I wish all could take to it. I shall be happy with whatever comes. I will not allow my happiness to be marred or robbed by the events of life. I will not allow it. Let anything happen in my life, my happiness will remain as it is. I will not be affected by the happenings of life. My happiness will not get affected. Mostly we are not so. We are not able to accept what comes in life, and our happinesses are all dependent on the happenings or the events or the episodes which take place in life. Well, good things are supposed to come. If they come, they are welcome. The unpleasant too will come to pass. Let them come. They too have a place in the world. Whatever is there in the world, that alone is also there in my life. I will not expect something different from what the world has. This is the most beautiful, healthy, and sovereign mind. That let good things come, pleasant things come, they are welcome. But unpleasant ones also will come because they also belong to the world. Whatever is there in the world, it will come in turn, in cycles. So whatever is there in the world, I'll have to face them. I will not expect something different. Because the world can give me both. What I like, what I dislike. What is good, pleasant, what is unpleasant. I cannot have or expect anything different from that. I cannot expect that I will have only the pleasant ones and unpleasant ones will not come before me. So this is the attitude which we should grow, we should cultivate. That let anything come, I am happy. I will accept. If pleasant comes, I am okay. If unpleasant comes, I am okay. Because I know that both belong to this world. So, have a largeness of the heart. Have a sense of great reconciliation, which is effortless and renders you free. This reconciliation, actually that is liberation. Swamiji wrote to me once, unaffectedness is liberation. We are always affected by little things, affected by great things, we are affected. And what is liberation? Liberation is unaffectedness. Let things come, things go. Receive what comes, let whatever goes, let it go. Be not affected. So have a largeness of the heart, have a sense of great reconciliation, which is effortless and renders you free. This sense of reconciliation will render you free. In our life, we plan many things. We want many things to be working or happening in a manner which we feel that should happen, should be happening because that is what will give us peace and steadiness. If it happens, it happens. Suppose even we are working for it, we don't find it to be happening. Instead of lamenting, commenting, finding fault, what we should do, how do we cultivate this great attitude or the great quality of the mind of non-expectation? We should accept what is coming. Reconcile with it. Not that we stop working for what, say, the physical comforts. Suppose we are working for it. We try to earn more money, get more things of comfort, or everyday living will be more comfortable. We do it. But along with comes a lot of other problems, So, accept that. Reconcile with that. When the life is very simple, their complexities will be less. When we have many things to look to, we are surrounded by many things, we are using many things, one will go bad, one will need repair, one you will find that you have paid more money but it is not working according to your satisfaction. So there will be a lot of other things, complicated things, taking away your time. Reconcile with everything. Do whatever happens, work for the best, whatever you feel. But if anything which comes, which you do not want, do not be agitated. Do not be affected. Reconcile. This is the path of expansion. This is the path of progress. This is the path of elevation. This path makes the mind lighter, ecstatic, and more creative, leading you to greater and loftier heights. So, have a largeness of the heart. Have a sense of great reconciliation, which is effortless and renders you free. This is the path of expansion. This is the path of progress. This is the path of elevation. This path makes the mind lighter, ecstatic, and more creative, leading you to greater and loftier heights. That is, when we accept anything that comes our way, forbearing, not lamenting, not making, not criticizing, not feeling that why it has happened, but try to withstand that, then the mind actually becomes dispassionate, indifferent to the expectations. Our expectations are there always. I think as soon as we get up in the morning, we have some plans in our life. And we expect things to happen in the manner that we are wanting, wishing, planning. But how to become indifferent to the bigger expectations, that we must have this, then only I will be happy. This needs cultivation, it needs introspection, it needs analyzing oneself, how we are leading our life. So, Swamiji is saying that once we are reconciling, accepting, then that is the path of progress. This is the path of elevation. This path makes the mind lighter, ecstatic, and more creative, leading you to greater and loftier heights. We become indifferent to our expectations, which constantly make us feel burdened. Burdened by what? Expectation, apprehension and fear that the expectation will be fulfilled or not. And ultimately, even if we do not like what has come to me, to be able to reconcile or accept it. So, we start becoming indifferent, dispassionate. My dear children, think about this and see its grandeur from this very moment onwards. What is Swamiji trying to tell us? He's saying that there is such a grandeur in it, such beauty in this non-expectation. Every expectation brings suffering, my dear children. If we go to the root cause of suffering, we'll find that it is the expectation that this should be like this, that should be like this, his behavior should have been like this, or I should have got this in my life, why did I not get this? So if it's everything that brings us misery and suffering is because of expectation. So non-expectation is a treasure. My dear children, think about this and see its grandeur from this very moment onwards. Incorporate this frame of mind. When you have this mind, the most salubrious and the most compatible developments will take place. If we do not have expectation, we'll find that things which are happening, maybe it would have happened otherwise also, but the mind will not get affected. The mind will feel that the most naturally things are happening to you. It will take to the events very, very naturally, whether it is good or bad. Otherwise, when the mind is filled with expectation, it only will give suffering. On the other hand, if you yourself, with your limited capability of body, mind, and intelligence, try to look for the compatible, you may miss it. Nay, you will not find it. The stronger your wish and will, farther will be the compatibility and harmony. If you have strong will and wish, you will find the harmonious things will not happen. You will never find harmony, because nature will not always give us what we wish and will. The stronger your wish and will, farther will be the compatibility and harmony. Desire and greed will afflict you. If you are not given to non-expectation, if we indulge in expectation and expectation alone, thinking that this is what I must get, this is what I am working for, so I must get this result, desire and greed will afflict you. If you drop this habit of expectations, if you make everything compatible, then you will get the best, the super best. This is who is saying this. A Sadguru is saying this. His instruction. My dear children, these are the talks that Swamiji spoke in the Prabhat Rashmi to a set of seekers and devotees who are sitting in front of him, wanting to take the knowledge that he's spreading in front. He's talking to us so that we take these pearls and grow with them. What is he saying? Have non-expectation, have non-expectation. Whenever we are in a group, we should not expect that everybody will talk to us in very good manner. Will always praise us, will talk to us very softly. We will not always get the job that I like or I like to do. I may get something which I don't like to do. To be wanting to do some work or activity, even in an ashram, when we come, suppose everybody feels that he or she should be given the job which he or she likes, will it work? Why we have come here? To do Guru Seva. Whatever is there, any work, even if it is a small work or a big work, it is considered to be Guru Seva. Suppose we feel that no, I expect that if I got this job, I could have shown my skill in that. And people will understand that I am quite skilled. I'll be able to do it quite well. Why this expectation? No expectation should be there. Not only in an ashram, everywhere. So, who is saying these words? The Sadguru is telling us that, oh dear children, expectation is bad. Expectation is like a poison. Remove it. Have non-expectation. Cultivate. And you will find that the best will come to you. What is the best? Freedom. With expectation, we become constricted, limited. When we do not have any expectation, it is like the whole ocean. Did anything come in? The ocean does not get affected. Ocean does not overflow. All the rivers come and flow into the ocean. Ocean does not overflow. So it will be like this. Desire and greed will affect you if you have stronger will and wish. If you make everything compatible, then you will get the best, the super best. Don't come back and ask me, Swamiji, I will drop all expectations. Then will I get the best, the super best? Swamiji is also saying this. Don't try to live your expectation with the expectation that you will get the best and the super best. That is also an expectation. That is, Swamiji has told all these things. Now if you feel that, oh, if I leave expectations, I will get the best. Even that is an expectation. Moksharthitvam apityaja. And that means you should not drop your expectation and still have a hidden or lingering expectation for the best and the super best. In cultivating this attitude lies the catch, and then it will click. That is, be natural. My dear children, the spirituality is being natural. Be effortless, be normal. Don't want anything. It is only the love for spirituality that one should pursue spirituality. I cannot be anything different from myself. And I just remain within myself, try to see the same me everywhere, try to see God everywhere, try to develop the qualities of the knowers. This should be our sadhana and our walking in this path. And there, what Swamiji is talking about, non-expectation has a great role. Great role. Nairapeksham sukham. Nairapeksham sukham. It says that when one doesn't have any kind of expectations and one pursues this path, the sukha, the happiness that one gains, does not depend on anything. It just comes out from one's own within. When we expect, we may get some sukha, very fleeting, for some little period, which will be over, which will be full with apprehension and fear that we are going to lose it. Will it happen? Will it not happen? This expectation will bring only suffering. And when one is non-expectant, the joy or the delight that one will have, will attain, that will be absolutely independent of any object. It will be one's own joy, delight from one's own within. So, Swamiji is saying, non-expectation, it's benign influences. So it is a very, very important instruction from the Sadguru. When one takes to spirituality, actually, when one becomes interested and inclined in spiritual pursuit, along with whatever one pursues, the most important ones is to develop these qualities, sadhana chatushtayam, and the qualities of the knowers. This is one quality of a knower, where he is non-expectant. He doesn't want anything. And that is why he is always happy, because whatever comes, he accepts. Whatever go, that also he is okay with. He is not affected by anything. So when we are reading this, hearing this, immediately the mind should feel that, oh, will I be able to become non-expectant? And we'll find that throughout our wakeful hours, we are constantly expecting from others. With a begging bowl, we actually move about. We want some help from others. we want some good words from other, we want some appreciation from others, we want somebody to help us or just give us company. We feel we want some support from somebody, feel secure with somebody's company. So always we are moving, maybe actually not moving with a bowl, but always we are moving with a bowl, expecting things, please give, please give, please give. And many times we don't get, so the mind is agitated. The mind becomes complaintful. Mind starts becoming repentant, sometimes lamenting, sometimes criticizing, sometimes finding fault, grumbling, sometimes in great sorrow that why did it happen like this? I helped that person so much. Now, when I went for some help, he just ignored me. This is what happens. Or we feel some kind of importance from somebody, but maybe that importance is not given. All these are expectations. Expectations. So, for a spiritual seeker, non-expectation is the greatest quality. We must achieve it, and we should shine with this kind of a mind, where anything which comes, just like the sea, will be only peaceful, only like the sea, where everything comes and the sea is unaffected. Okay. Jai Guru. Jai Guru. Jai Guru. Sampurnam Jagadevanandanavanam Sarvepi Kalpadrumaha Gangam Vari Samasta Vari Nibaha Punya Samasta Kriyaha Vacha Prakrita Samskrita Shruti Shiro Varanasi Medini Sarvavasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya Drishti Parabrahmani Sarvavasthitirasya Vastu Vishaya Drishti Parabrahmani. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.